The mouth is considerably in need of correction by adding a line of shadow all along the top of the upper lip, thus lessening the curve upward at the corners. Notes and sketches sprawl over Rossetti's off-print from the engraver's block. It would be easy to jump to the conclusion that this creator of sultry images of his own lovers, dreamy Lizzie Siddal, heavy-lidded Jane Morris, would like to correct the poet's appearance. But far from disparaging her, Rossetti wants his engraver to be more faithful to the photograph portrait they're both working from, for example by removing a sort of smile not in the photograph and not characteristic of the original. He's had plenty of chances to study this original at the Brownings' home, an evening resort where I never feel unhappy. In the 2 years since the hugely successful appearance of Aurora Leigh, Elizabeth's pioneering 9-book Bildungsroman, which is the first to tell the story of a woman becoming a writer, Rossetti has admired her work and become eager to paint her. Initial impressions: as unattractive a person as can well be imagined. She looks quite worn out with illness and speaks in the tone of an invalid, have turned to admiring protectiveness. Now he replaces the photographer's stock studio furniture with a symbolic writing desk and instructs Barlow to darken their subject's hair and enlarge her signature dark eyes in order to make her look a little younger and less worn out with illness. After all, this portrait's whole purpose is to extinguish what her husband calls certain horrible libels on humanity published as portraits of her in America, portrayals all too similar to Rossetti's own first impressions. Earlier, shipping the photograph to Aurora Leigh's American publishers, Robert has assured them just a shade too urgently that what you receive is the sun's simple truth, without a hair's breadth of retouching. Well, up from Italy to spend summer 1858 with Elizabeth's English family, the Brownings have picked out Le Havre as a halfway meeting point. On the very last day of what turn out to be 2 unsatisfactory, tiring months at the Normandy port, Robert finds a clever man to conduct a photographic session with his camera-shy wife. But the result seems to justify her resistances. Jean-Victor Macaire Warno and his brother Louis Cyrus Macaire, who share the waterside studio, are renowned technical pioneers. Yet, the photographic image that will briefly see commercial distribution in North America and be so proudly donated to the Authors Club of New York by litterateur Richard Henry Stoddard is an oddly unclear and generic image. The poet's publishers, C.S. Francis and Company, do not use it themselves. Look closer, though, and for all Robert's insistence that there isn't a hair's breadth of retouching, the picture turns out to have been clumsily overpainted. In fact, within 2 sentences his letter contradicts itself, framing Macaire Warno as the artist whose worked-up detail that got lost in making this copy. Yet, with its brush-stroke hair, torso straight as a ruler, and expressionless face, this naive rendering is hardly the work of a professional. Who, apart from Robert, who is a keen amateur artist, could have a motive for intervention so strong that it overrules plain sight and common sense like this? We can't be absolutely sure we've caught him red-handed. The great American photographer Matthew Brady seems to have been authorized to sell prints of the image Francis and Company received for $3 a pop, though it's hard to believe that he would have retouched so clumsily. But what we do know is that, luckily, Robert has kept back an untouched original. It's this version that Barlow and Rossetti use, and we can see a detail of it in copies taken by British photographers Eliot and Fry. In it, the unexpurgated Elizabeth Barrett Browning has a dark shadow of tiredness or pain under her left eye, and the graying of her hair is difficult to assess, but she's every bit as characterful as Rossetti's recreation. This real-life woman has dark eyes and arched dark eyebrows. Her nose is long, so is her upper lip, with its sexy overbite. Her face is asymmetric. Cover the right side, and the left seems soulful and focused. Cover the left, and the right appears amused. In the 21st century, we recognize instantly the Brownings' anxiety about this key publicity shot, and their need to control the image of the international